Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. This video is not going to be long, but I'm making this video because I want to talk a little bit about something that I've found to be very important, and also something that I've learned along just like my journey of just acquiring more knowledge and wisdom, because it's all really a journey. But I'm making this video because I want to talk about how, through meditating and connecting with myself, how I've noticed that the thoughts that you dwell on for majority of your time start to become more positive. That's basically the topic, and I want to explain more too. So, one of the main things I noticed just from being in nature a lot and going within myself, and part of that is meditating too, and prayer. One of the main thing I notice is that the thoughts that I dwell on for like the majority of my time, just being awake and stuff like that, started to become more positive. I started to gain a more positive perspective and mindset on life and on just who I am and the way that I decide to think. Um, that was a huge shift for me, for sure. What I was saying, that was a huge shift for me personally, because in my past, I've always been the type of person where anytime I'm in like a situation that's rough or, just not necessarily good, I've always been the type of person to just automatically like resort to negative thinking and negative thoughts, and like just pondering on thoughts that I necessarily shouldn't be for long periods of time. And that can lead to like spiraling, and that can lead to just ultimately becoming a very negative person when it comes to a lot of things in life in certain situations. So one of the main things I've learned from that, from tapping in with myself, I guess, more, is that you consciously choose to change your perspective and shift your perspective on everything in life. Literally everything. You choose, and not only do you choose to like shift your perspective and your the way you view things, but also, sorry, let me breathe. But also you do it in a more healthier, more positive way. Because I mean, if you think about it, we all literally have the the option and the free will to just like choose how we want to view things, how we want to view ourselves, how we want to view our life, how we want to view everything. We all have free will to literally just like choose whatever you want to think or whatever perspective you want to look at it from. So going within, going within yourself, connecting with yourself, meditating with yourself, when you basically get that option to choose, because free will, you can choose. When you have that option, you make a more conscious decision to choose something better. And a lot of us may be in a situation where our mentality and our mindset, we're just thinking like there's no better. There's no better future, there's no better perspective, there's no better outcome, there's no just better. There's no good. And I know a lot of people probably think from this perspective because I used to. So, and I know I'm not just the only one. So, so the only way that you could change that is by going within yourself and changing it yourself consciously. That's the only way Nothing else in life is going to change it for you, Nothing else, nothing else in life is going to do the work for you. Nothing. Only you can do it. Only you can do that work. But once you do that work, you start to realize that it all plays a part. Even if it may seem like it's not working or it's not as powerful as it may seem like it is, I'm telling you, keep doing it, keep getting better with it, and over time, with your progress, you will notice that it does get better and it does work. It's very powerful, actually, you know? All right, so I'm gonna basically in this video by ending off on my last topic about the subject, I guess. But basically, what I was gonna say is nature also plays a very, very big, important role in connecting with yourself, in meditating. A lot of us don't know how important nature is just for your mental health and your mentality and the way that you think. I recently learned that in another country, I forgot what country it was. I think it was like Japan or somewhere over there, and basically for how in the U.S. in America, right, we take medication for mental health, right? They give us pills and stuff like that. In that country, they don't do that. You know what they prescribe their people that's mentally unstable? Nature. They give them nature therapy. I've recently learned that, and I already knew how important nature is, and especially like I said, when it comes to your mental health and the way that you think. I already knew how important it was, but that just opened my eyes so much more to how important it is to meditate in nature, to connect with nature, because ultimately, another thing too that I realized a long time ago that made me realize that nature is so important when it comes to connecting with yourself and meditating, because nature is literally, or we are literally an extension of nature. Like we literally come from nature. So by connecting with nature, guess what? You connect with yourself. Y'all are both one. So nature is super important. But like I said, in the other country, they prescribe their mental patients that has mental problems nature therapy is what it's called. So yeah, that should really show you how important getting nature is. But that further goes into my topic that I was saying. Connecting with yourself and meditating is the best way to change your mentality, your mental habits, the way that you think, the way that you see the world, your perspective, and all of those very, very important things. All right, y'all. I wanted to end it on that. Just a little bit of knowledge and wisdom for the people who need it. And yeah, peace.